we're having more and more beautiful days downtown Lawrence, and it is not by chance. It is by the work by everyone you see up here, from hardworking city councilors, from the mayor's office to the state reps' offices, private and public institutions, and definitely the state delegation, and all the way from the governor's office. And I kind of fell into this project. It was work that the delegation had done before I became mayor to secure the funding, and we said, okay, well, let's make sure we get the most out of it. And so that's why we're here today to announce it's basically the ribbon cutting for about a year and a half. T, how long has this been there? About a year and a half effort to beautify what used to be a very displeasing area in the city. And I say displeasing because I could probably use a lot more other words. For anybody who grew up here knew that behind us used to be the in-town mall, and this basically was no man's land. And I say that because when I was going to high school, you had to come through here to get the bus to go to the high school from South Lawrence. From anywhere else in the city, the bus would drop you here. And it was an ugly place then, and today it's the final kind of chapter of this area. And we could not have definitely not done it without the support of everybody with us today. It's important to note the beautiful artwork that we see. We thought if we're going to do all this work, we got to make sure that the vista along the way looks great. And that would not have been possible without the artistic support for Elevated Thought. And I know we have somebody representing, he's here with us today, Elevated Thought. Round of applause for them. And if you go through the city, you can see electrical boxes that are painted with different designs and art. They're the artists that do that as well. So we have this constant collaboration with them, ensuring that our landscape gets beautified. At the same time, it helps people change minds about different things in Lawrence. That could not have been done, however, without the financial support from the Lawrence Partnership. And I know we have Derek Mitchell here, and Lane Glenn is wearing two hats today, not only as the president of Northern Essex, but also as the chair of the Lawrence Partnership. And they put up the $7,000 it took to make the paintings happening. So thank you guys for doing that. So it was a very long time coming that we were looking for a lot of support from the state. And it wasn't because we didn't have a great delegation, because we did have a great delegation going up to Beacon Hill doing their best. But for the longest time, administrations wouldn't come to Lawrence to help in any real supportive way. And we've been so blessed, even in the changing of administration, when we had an administration that was Democrat, now he's a Republican administration, that they did not forget about Lawrence just because they might have lost Lawrence in the election. So we were very happy to know that the governor's office here supporting us, supporting this effort, everything we do in the city. So it's important. I'm very excited to introduce you all to Assistant Secretary of the Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development, Juan Vega, to represent the governor's office in their effort to make this place beautiful.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and to all the members of the legislative members here from the city. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the Baker Political Administration, as well as Secretary Jay Ash. I did have some notes that I wanted to run through. We're very excited to be part of the ribbon cutting, or the unveiling, if you will, of this great project. We're here to celebrate this important milestone in the city's downtown redevelopment efforts. The ribbon cutting today represents a true private-public partnership at both the state and the local level, and demonstrates a strong and ever-growing relationship between the city and Northern Essex Community College. The MassWorks Award to the City of Lawrence enhances the downtown not only for its residents, but the students of NECC. The Baker Political Administration believes strongly in partnering with communities. We're most effective with communities as partners in order to support innovative and creative development that's bubbling up from the local level. Our economic development agenda is about supporting efforts by communities to better their own future, and it's about embracing leadership development and capacity development in communities. We want to help communities set a vision for what they want to become, identify what they need to achieve their own goals, and then mobilize towards those goals. And we succeed as a state when we embrace and encourage organic, authentic, community-driven projects. And that's why we're also proud to be here today celebrating Lawrence's accomplishment at the Alleyway Project's ribbon cutting. The project celebrates an important part of Lawrence's broader economic development vision to revitalize the downtown through investment and planning. And we couldn't be happier to be here to celebrate on the completion of the Alleyway project. And as the mayor mentioned, we have had several opportunities to really partner with the city and been very proud working with a lot of different stakeholders at the higher ed level, at the community organizations, nonprofits, and the municipality itself through many of our different initiatives. And it's really an honor. I've had the chance to come up to Lawrence many times, and I'm going to start asking for some office space the next time I come. But I want to congratulate the mayor, the delegation that represents city council members, etc., for this accomplishment, and I'm very happy to be here with you.
So we're going to get an opportunity now to hear from the team that brought the money to the city, our state delegation. But it's important to note that with us today, a city councilor from District D, Giovanni Rodriguez, is with us too. And Council President does say in his regards he would really like to have been here today, Council President Vasquez. So the next person I'd like to introduce is a person who's trying to find out ways to help us do the things that we do in ways that we don't even understand ourselves. And so we really are very proud to have a leader at the State House be our state senator, because when there are certain issues and people want subject matter expertise on, they call on Barbara L'Italian for those things. And we are so fortunate to have her as our state senator, and making sure that even though this the money for this was considered before her and I were even around, but keeping it on track and keeping it around for us to spend, that takes a lot of effort too. So our friend and our great state senator, Barbara L'Italian.
Thank you. Good afternoon on this beautiful day. What I'm struck by is sort of the marriage between creativity and the educational facility that the city of Lawrence deserves. Beautiful places where people can sit and think and enjoy and recreate. It will become a destination for Essex Street, and it will also be utilized by the Northern Essex students. I want to echo the mayor's remarks in terms of elevated thought, creating these beautiful murals. That is creativity in action. That is allowing expression from its residents here in Lawrence. So critically important for that to happen. And I love his t-shirt that says, "I am art, I am change." So MassWorks grants are really a collaboration. They require buy-in from the local governing authority, in this case the mayor and the city council. They require the state delegation, in this case the state legislators and senators, going in and speaking on behalf of the proposed programs, and it requires a partnership with the state MassWorks granting authority. So it really is a collaboration, but I like to think of it as something that comes from the ground up, something that's a desired need, in this case, the economic revitalization and beautification of Essex Street, enabled as well by the Lawrence Partnership, but it really is something that comes from its citizenry and comes up to the state, and when we do that kind of bottom-up thinking and creating, I think we all are true beneficiaries. So happy to be here. It's beautiful space. Look forward to spending some time here. Thank you.
Next up, a person who was my boss when I was on the city council, who continues to serve our city up at Beacon Hill, a friend, and I think that when it came to this project, I think he played one of the leading roles in it, and we're just so happy to have him here and have him be our state representative, Frank Moran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It seems like yesterday when we were doing the planning for this alleyway, see how it was going to be planned, what type of floor we're going to put down, what kind of benches, what we're going to do with the walls. And today I'm coming in and I'm saying, wow, everything came to fruition. It looks beautiful. And it's always good to see us revitalizing spaces like this, so especially all the alleyways that we have in the city of Lawrence. This is going to help the students from here to have access to all the little businesses outside there. I mean, this is a win-win for the city of Lawrence. This is a great project, and I'm hoping that, what we do with the alleyways continues, not just here in downtown, but also continues across the city of Lawrence. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to be big for us eventually, and eventually it's going to be new growth for the city of Lawrence as well if we continue what we started here and spread it to the whole city. Thank you.
And that's an important part, because this is a space that I'm not sure anybody thought would ever change. And the more we do things around places where people think nothing will ever change in Lawrence, I think the better off we start with that momentum of actually changing all things that are wrong in the city of Lawrence. And you know, I get that kind of energy from a person who's going to have to speak next, a real close friend, always talking about, you know, the love and power. And if we can use those things together, we can make a big difference in our city. Our friend, State Representative Marcos Devers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And good afternoon, everyone. Let me tell you one thing. I've been thinking about self-esteem, about moral. How do you feel when you are in an environment, a scenario that is clean, that is nice? And that's what I see. And this is money invested where we really need it. We want to revitalize this area. And I feel so humble and at the same time honored for the little thing that I could have made done for this, along with the rest of our partnership, private and public. This is great. This is a motive for celebration. A friend of mine whose name is Yadir Altagracia, I would like to have a tent here because it looks like we are in Dominican Republic, in Santo Domingo, with the great weather we have. So I'm so glad, and I share all the sentiments expressed by the other elected officials. Thank you.
Now I know part of the team that we have at Beacon Hill is Representative Diana DeXaglio. She couldn't be with us today, but you know, I'm sure she is one of those people as well who is constantly fighting for the best interests of our city, and she sends her regards. The other thing I want to say to me, part of the things you'll see as part of when you get the press release today, it says, you know, we've all been talking about alleyways. This is really the city center, you know, and this almost $900,000 went to really revitalize what's now going to be the city center, and it did take an alleyway to make it a city center. I mean, there's not going to be the 10 or 11 trash barrels that were back here. Not trash barrels, they were dumpsters. The smell of that trash has gone away. This is really going to connect one side of Essex Street with one side of Common Street, Hampshire Street with Amesbury Street, and you know, making it places where people can walk. That's not right on the sidewalk and not near business traffic I think is going to make a big difference. So it's not. We actually did change an alleyway, or they said turn a parking lot into something else. This is really going to be a great city center. And to talk a little bit more about that connection, the person who really changed this landscape here by having the new Al Hefney Center here, our friend, the president of Northern Essex Community College, Lane Glenn.
Thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm here wearing a couple of different hats. The president of Northern Essex Community College, also the chair of the board of the Lawrence Partnership. And this alley is emblematic of some work from both those directions. The college has a name for this. As we've been involved in this planning process for the last couple of years, we simply refer to this as the connector. You heard Mayor Rivera talk about connections, a number of other people talk about connections. We call this the connector. And in our minds and in our hearts, which is just as important, it connects our mission here in the city, the college's mission to educate and to expand educational opportunities. It connects that mission with commerce, with the life of the city. You walk out this door right onto the street. We fully expect our students to be doing that and people from the community coming in this direction. It's vital to us to be as involved as we can be in the life of the city here. Our student enrollment at this institution here in Lawrence has doubled in the last 10 years. We've got 3,000 students in this city now, and we can take on a lot more. And there's a lot more of that kind of work to be done. So as we bring partners into the city, Regis College, Linden State College, other partners into the city to increase that educational opportunity, as we work with the schools here in the city, public and private, our mission is being served the more that we connect this way. So I'm very happy about that, working with the city, working with the legislative delegation, the partnership. Marquise Victor and Elevated Thought, you guys are phenomenal. From the Lawrence Partnership end of things, that whole partnership, and I hope most, if not all of you here in this connector today know this, from the Lawrence Partnership end of things, that's about economic revitalization. That's a group of people, business people, public and private leaders in the city, elected officials, who are willing to put forth not only their ideas, but also their investment, their capital, with an expectation of a return on that investment. Because when that happens, we all benefit. So this kind of investment, modest though it may be, is really symbolic of much larger ideas, more investment to come, we anticipate, and a lot of wonderful things, as the mayor said, to the city in the future. I hope I can take a little bit of license with the agenda, although it didn't appear officially, and briefly anyway, hand this microphone to Derek Mitchell, who's the executive director of the Lawrence Partnership, because really, he leads that organization now, and I think you can expect to hear a lot more about what the partnership is doing after this.
Thanks. I just want to touch on why this symbolism that Lane mentioned is so important and so relevant to the future of our community. When people work together, things that are impossible become not only possible but probable. And I think that's a momentum that we're seeing here in Lawrence more and more under the private and public sector leadership, a lot of it represented here. But it's this idea that if we can imagine it, and what the mayor always talks about, the imagination gap, if we can imagine it, bringing different people and stakeholders to the table really helps us implement it. And so this project is a great example of different stakeholders from the city and the state and private sector that all recognize that they have shared interests coming together to make an idea a reality. In this specific project, the Lawrence Partnership put forth some resources. We worked with Marquise, whose mission is so consistent with engaging young people and also beautifying the city at the same time. We found that our resources to create this great vision still needed additional support. When we reached out to another local business owner, White Street Paint, they got it. And they donated this paint. And so in addition to the financial contributions, the work of Marquise doing a lot of this at cost, local business people have donated the resources. And this is how we stretch what we have to make what would have been impossible a couple of years ago, not only possible, but probable today. And so this is a great, tangible vision, and it's something that will become a great asset in the community, but it's certainly something that speaks to so many other opportunities moving forward. We're blessed by great leadership in the community and optimism for all that can come. And so the Lawrence Partnership is grateful to participate and contribute and work in collaboration with such a great community. So thanks.
So there's a team in the city hall that works on projects like this. Teresa Parks, who's our planning director, James Barnes, who's our community development director, and Abel Vargas, who's our economic development director. We get support from people like Brad Bosher. Where's Brad? I just saw him was here. Maybe he's gone. From Groundwork Lawrence, and the team at TEC that helps with making sure that stuff looks not only right on paper, but actually is measured appropriately and ends up doing right at the end of the day. But principally, this would not have been possible, any of this, without the support of our state delegation. Very often there is a gap in funding in the local budgets, whether it's for policing, and then they come through. The representatives and the senator come through with $1 million in police funding. If it's public health, they go out and get grants to fight the opioid crisis. If it's about infrastructure, and they make sure that the Chapter 90 dollars are there, and then they help us figure out where to spend that money. And so I think that, for me, when I think about this alleyway turning into a city center, turning into a connector for the students at Northern Essex, I think that it's the best possible effort that we get from our state delegation, and we want to make sure that we herald them in this effort, and I want to thank you personally. It makes my job easier when you guys are working hard and when you can leverage the governor's office support on this. So that's all our information. You're going to get some press releases on it, and make sure if you have any questions, we'll be around. You can pull us individually. All right? Thank you so much.